Hello and welcome to the 45th episode of Salt Play Sunless Sea. I have just decided not to bother with reading all of the stuff in the Empire of Hands because it's not personally that interesting to me. I'm heading south, kind of in search of Estival. Oh, that's a Lauren fluke. Never mind. No. Oh. Leave me alone. There's something here. Is this the chelinate? Totally is. Okay. None of you are Estival. Ah. A white Z-bat. A sailor has grown fretful and disobedient, reluctant to go on deck, even in port. There's a white Z-bat watching me up there. Salt's messenger. Salt's got its eye on me. I'll never see home again. So you can either shoot the Z-bat. If the bloody thing is frightening your bloody crew, you'll bloody well settle its hash. Or we can feed the Z-bat. If white Z-bats are sacred to Salt, perhaps you'll win Salt's favor, if you believe any of this. Or Salt. Salt. One of the nameless gods that nameless, so nameless it's called Salt. One of the nameless gods that sailors fear. This sailor is a conscientious man. Send him to the sick bay on the pretext of a fever. Or Salt, sailor superstition. Order him up on deck at once. I'm gonna feed the Z-bat. Ooh, I got a secret for that. From your fingers. The Z-bat takes fungal crackers from your fingers as boldly as a parrot. It dips its head to you and chirrups something you might mistake for speech. It spreads its wings and leaps into the air. The next day, your crewman is gone, along with one of the ship's boats. No one saw him depart, or knows why. Interesting. Okay. More Lorne flukes. Oh, damn it. Please leave me alone. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, at least it was only 2 damage. Where the hell is the chelinate? Ah! This is not where I want to be. Yeah. Uh-huh, I know. No! Oh. Come on, just get me into Shabbat and leave me alone. Okay, the chelinate. A shell as big as a wild dream? Waves lap at the slabby sides of a vast turtle shell, bigger than any cathedral. Chelinites loaf on wooden docks around the shell sides, staring sullenly. Lamps hang like decorations in a festive butcher's window. All around you, the sea is rank with scraps of ancient flesh. Okay, allow the plausible surgeon to go ashore here. Oh my word, look at these scars, look at these stains. Release me from my contract, Captain, I beg you. I've saved up enough to compensate you. We will let him go here. A pocket full of echoes. The surgeon is as good as his word. Hands trembling, he counts out the coins and whispers a little secret he picked up back in London. He is vague about why he didn't mention it before. He collects his knives and instruments, heads into the shell, and is gone. I'm pretty sure he wasn't assigned. Oh, he was assigned. No, I just don't have a gunnery officer. Are you? You're not a gunnery officer. Okay. What else can I do? Let's help Maybe's daughter search for her mother. I couldn't understand why she came here to begin with, but she gestures around you at the design sketched on hide and scratched on stone. It's all tattoos, the alphabets of bone and flesh. That's what our family keeps coming back to. She frowns. Our family is strange in every way imaginable. No luck. I found some of these, though. Well, found. You can have one. Are you going to be stern with me? They have so many trophies, they don't know what to do with them. Anyway, we're getting closer. I can feel it. I swear. Okay, let me cross out chelinate here. 10 hunting trophies? How the fuck did that? Oh, I hunted a bunch of things. That's why I have hunting trophies. Okay, let's get a port report. How does one express this very striking smell? The limits of meaningful expression. No matter what details you try to record, the stench creeps in around the edges of the sentences. The Chelonites, watchful despite the reek. Movement among the miasmic scraps of long-abandoned monster carcass. Frequent duels where the stink is thickest. Let's check out Tales for the Bone. Someone is crying unusual wares. Follow the sound. Pay the chronicler to inscribe a Z story onto a hunting trophy and you'll receive an outlandish artifact. I do need some outlandish artifacts, but I don't... I'll spend, let's see, I'll spend 5 supplies. Oh, I'll only spend 4. Okay, I'm gonna read this once. The bones of the matter. Whistling, the chronicler does his work. With a flourish, he returns to you a beautifully engraved piece of bone. A good tale, he concedes. Good enough. He leans closer. You're a Z-captain, aren't you? Bring me a tale worthy of the bone, and I'll shape something worthy of you. I've long sought the tale of the glory's end. Glory's what we call this beast. He gestures around you at the turtle shell. None still live from these days when we slew her, but the saying is, the tale still lives on history's beach. Bring me that tale, Z-Captain, please. Interesting. I don't know how to write this down. Scrimshock Chronicler. Tale, Glory's death. On history's beach. Okay. I'm gonna do this 2 more times because I might run into the drownies. A gentle reminder. No sign of the tale of Glory's end, Captain? Remember, it still lives on the beach where history comes to rest, or so they say. That might be Duncio. Okay, one more time. And with that... yeah. Alright, interesting. I'm gonna go south one more time, but I think that's inherently King Eater Castle. The colors in the turtle shell are so pretty. A fist. Another one of those guys. Oh, there's a guy down there. Huh. There was something over here. Another fist. A hand. We have entered the sea of statues. Giants gape at us. King Eater Castle rises ahead, where fools give up their future. Where exactly is King Eater Castle? Oh no, that's just the Sea of Statues. Well, yes, I know about the Sea of Statues. secrets. Need to remember those. Let's see if this kills me. Discovered Pennington. I'm gonna start by spending those secrets that I have. Hearts needs an increase the most. Okay, is she hearts? Yes. While I'm here, this is me putting off not remembering what happens at King Eater Castle. Her father? She becomes more talkative when she has something to cut. Perhaps you can get her to say more about her father. Who was he then? There's flensing, deboning, and orderly arranging of scales from large to small. This was the creature's favorite organ, she says, working briskly with tweezers and blade. Don't touch it. The purple bits are toxic. She only turns to personal matters when she's had a chance to rinse her fingers. I get my proficiency with metal from both sides of the family, she says, watching your expression closely. Then, Mother was a favorite with Mr. Iron. She says that they only worked together, that Mr. Iron sponsored her work and provided her with tools, sharper tools that do not bend so easily. Okay. King Eater Castle. Echoes stalk you through the colonnades. An old veracity lives here, in the far reaches of the Zee. The priests are long gone, but sacrifices are still made. Perhaps you have come here to make a sacrifice. Perhaps the sacrifice is you. An act of burning faith. Which god holds sway here? Storm? Stone? Salt? Perhaps no god that is elsewhere named, but if you feed it, it will calm your mind. So spend some fuel and supplies to lower terror. That's fine. We can lose our mind. We can eat our crew. This will destroy all your crew and any human or near human officers. The struggle will wound or even kill you. Damn. Or we can offer our stories, all of them. This may take you elsewhere at the cost of all your Z stories. Choose it only if you are desperate to be somewhere else. I'm not going to do that. Or we can compile a port report. Silence, desolation, the sense of an impending and terrible mistake. Let's get a port report. Everything is horrible. It's not really an appropriate title for a formal report, is it? Let's find something a little more clinical. Okay. I'm not going to do anything else. I assume there's no shops or shift yard here. Yeah. Alright. Well, I haven't found Estival. I'm not going back north. So let's just get out of here. Go across the southern coast. Check out all of those weird spaces on the continent. I do really like when they let you sail under things. Ooh, horrors below. Sailors at the rail call softly. Something swims beneath the ship. I saw it looking up at us, one says, his voice a tremble. Let's bring out the nets. Well then, let's catch it. What is it? It comes dripping from the sea, sleek as a seal, but its eyes are faceted. One sailor covers his ears. I swear, he says afterwards, I heard it scream like a woman. I don't remember if there's another, like, port east of here. Well, I'm not going past that. I know I can easily go past it, but I feel like that's like, don't bother. Banning Bluff. Nope, not gonna shine a light on those guys. You don't see me. No, you do see me. I'm going. Please leave me alone. Varchas, the mirrored city. Port Erdonmez. We could do a stay in Varchas. We have time for that. Okay. Varchas, the mirrored city, where light was always the law. The walled city of Varchas is a tangle of green vines and luminescent fungal flowers, slow blooming around moldering stone. A quincunx of carved stepped towers rise up over the walls and pour burning white light into the bleak sky. A rough, shadowed path leads from the docks to the mirrored gates of Varchas. Two towering carved stone lamps throw their light on the angled mirrors, and a blue-cloaked guard stands in the reflected pool of light. The city is a beacon against the tree-hushed, sprawling darkness of the Elder Continent. In the far distance, a vast mountain glimmers. Let's just go through this in order. Choke on the smell. It is overpowering, sweet. It comes from the fungus growing wild all over the city's stones. The flowers have white, waxy leaves which leave powdery traces on your fingers. The light coming from the city has the same... Sorry. Okay, I just hit my mic on accident. The light coming from the city has the same camphorous quality, and the smell, perfume worn too many days on the body, unread books left to turn to ink-stained pulp, a garden drowned and rotting in still water. The sailors wave you over. They are sitting on some upturned crates on the docks, playing a game with mirrored chips and stylized snakes made of bone. You're not thinking of going in there. The sailors gawk at you in unconcealed horror. They take turns telling you gruesome stories of Varchas, which they no doubt invented whole cloth. Some are convinced that the Varchasi render sailors into tallow to light their city. Others say they steal shadows and sell them to their masters. All of them are convinced that they blind any strangers who dare to gaze too long upon their city's secrets. We're just waiting to be paid, and then we're off, one of the sailors says, nervously fingering a mirror chip. I've only got one eye left, and I'd like to keep it. Ask the guard a few questions. Never a bad idea to gather a little intelligence before heading into unknown waters, or cities as the case may be. The blue-cloaked guard only acknowledges your existence when you step out of the darkness of the path and into the light from the lamps. At the mirrored gates, the guard stands in the middle of the pool of light, looking warily at the darkness beyond you. Up close, the guard's blue cloak is threadbare and mossy along the hem. A pattern of embroidered suns runs along the collar, but the gold thread is dull. The kohl around her eyes is smudged. Well, Tamas, she asks, are you going to ask your questions, or are you just going to stare? Her tone is brusque, but her expression is curiously eager. You do not think Varchas receives many visitors. Your name is not Tamas. You correct her politely. The guard looks scandalized and tries to stop her ears. All those who are not Varchasi are Tamas. You have been touched by darkness, and it has taken your name. She fixes you with an admonishing look, and adds, it is very ill-mannered to pretend you still have one. You begin to see a little why Varchas is not often visited. It looks like you'll have to get used to being called Tamas if you wish to enter. I'm gonna say I'm interpreting those double A's as a long vowel. I don't natively speak languages with long vowels. Might be doing it wrong. Ask about the light. It all seems a bit wasteful, possibly even ostentatious. We must always walk in Mihir's light, so we burn our lamps night and day to banish darkness from the mirrored city, she tells you proudly. If we let darkness corrupt us, we would not be Rajasi any longer, but Tamas, like you. You wonder, is that so terrible a fate? Her mocking laugh answers you even before her words do. Yes, it would be terrible indeed, Tamas. And before you ask, she adds, no, I do not have any desire to leave Varchas. The rest of Neath has fallen from Mihir's grace, and I have no wish to join them. Ask about her. Does she like her job? Does anyone? It is a great honor to guard the mirrored gate, she snaps defensively. She gestures to the edge of the pool of light illuminating her post. It is very dangerous. Even a small stumble and I could fall into the dark. Her voice goes thready. I would be banished from Mihir's grace. I would lose my name. This is why they only send the bravest outside the walls. Ask about the city's customs. Best to know before you flout them. Easier to plan an escape route that way. Don't touch the mirrors. Don't even look into the mirrors, she says, her voice hard, and try very hard not to dream. Were you expecting something along the lines of don't murder anyone or only wear red on special occasions? Still, you nod and smile. You have no more questions. You are satisfied, or perhaps the guard's voice is beginning to grate a little. She looks a little disappointed, but does not try to engage you further. Let's compile a port report before we go in. The Admiralty will want to know the mirrored city and its glories. Tone down the details of the light and its brilliance. You don't want to inspire envy in the Admiralty staff. Okay. Tell the guard you wish to enter. Well, what else are gates for if not to go through? She makes a mark on her ledger before ringing a brass bell. The mirrors of the gates rearrange to give you space to pass, but never once allow shadow to touch the guard. Our ways are not yours, Thomas. Remember that, and walk in the light of me here. Inside the city walls, your eyes are blinded by the brilliance of the light. The verdant rot smell is even thicker. The heat of so much flame and reflected light presses oppressively against your skin. Your head pounds. It is a few minutes before your eyes adjust and you can look around. Brass lamps and gilded sconces hang from every wall, and phosphorescent fungus grows moss-like upon doorways and ceilings. Cunningly arranged mirrors catch every droplet of light and diffuse it till each cobblestone and rampart of the city is drenched and blazing and utterly without shadow. Who do you speak to? We've got the firekeeper, we've got the white-cloaked guard, we've got the fungus carter, we've got the jewel-turbaned youth, or continue our explorations. Let's start with the firekeeper. Dressed all in saffron, a pair of thick fireproof gloves dangle from a silver chain at her waist. I'm too important to play guide to you, Tamas, she tells you before you even open your mouth. I'm the keeper of the Western Principal Mirror. She points up at the enormous multifaceted mirrors set atop each of the city's 5 towers. I'm only here because I'm looking for my idiot brother. He's probably busy pouring wine down some pretty dark-eyed boy's throat in a tavern. Is it a matter of great urgency, you wonder? He's late for his lamp checks in the sacred district, is her terse reply as she hurries away. If the Agni Hotri find out, he'd be lucky to end up a lake dredger. Let's continue our explorations. Time to venture further than the outer district. The mirrored city gleams invitingly. You'll get used to the smell in time. You walk galleried courtyards wreathed with vines and fungal blooms. Long, straight roadways crisscross the length and breadth of Varchas, the stone worn by the wheels of carts and the tread of thousands of slippered feet. Lamplighters constantly check the fuel levels of the sconces and replace wicks. Firekeepers check the coiled spring mechanisms that control the angle of the mirrors. There is much to explore. Where will you go next? Interesting. I guess let's start with entertainments in Varjas. There are bars and gaming houses to the west. Follow the clink of wine glasses and the companionable shouts. There are many available. Mihir is not a Puritan god. The nicer establishments in the city are lit with expensive imported gas and have little blue glowing scintillax statuettes scattered on the shelves. What takes your fancy? So we have the gaming table, arguing priests, and duelists. I'm curious about the arguing priests. They are having a wine-drenched debate at one of the tables in the back. Do you care to listen in? 69, nice. The priest's argument is theological in nature. They keep invoking texts you've never read and cosmological concepts you've never bothered contemplating. It makes you desirous of an overfull cup of wine. Let's check out the duelists then. The courtyard is strewn with white sand. The duelists fight with curving twin-bladed scimitars in each hand. You could try your luck in an exhibition match. The blades are light and deadly. There is an intent light in your opponent's eyes. You step together and then away, your blades kissing gently before scraping apart in a rasp of steel. Your opponent is going easy on you, but that is what you are here for. An exhibition match is meant to make both parties look good. It's hard to keep your mouth from curving into a sharp grin as your blades clash and chime. You sweat under all the reflected light, and your arms are shaking by the time the arbitrator calls time. Your opponent bows deep, a flick of eyebrows and a flourish of blades, and you do the same. I'm going to return to the city center. There is more of Varchas to explore. Let's check out the Temple of Mihir. It lies in the Sacred District at the center of Varchas. The sound of the bells grows louder and more reverberant as you approach. The temple tower pierces through the city's heart, taller than the other 4 towers which stand at each of the cardinal points. Around the temple sprawls the Sacred District, vine-covered stone shrines, still ponds glowing with algae and flash-finned carp, priests in white, their wrists heavy with metal chains. There are no mirrors in the Temple of Mihir. The rest of the city has to make do with mirrored light and reflection, but Mihir's most sacred space is filled with hundreds of lamps and lit candles of hard-packed phosphorescent fungus. So we have just a few things that we can do. Looks like we can listen to the mantras, look at some bas reliefs, or hear about the Agnihotri. Let's listen to the mantras. In Varchas, the sun still shines, calls the sun priest, in the way of an invocation. The assembled temple-goers raise their voices in well-worn reply. In Varchas, the sun still shines. The sun priest pitches her voice so it echoes off the fire-warmed stones of the temple and reverberates through the tower. Mihir looked away from us, and Varchas fell, she intones. Now we light our city like a beacon, so Mihir may find us once more. And then I want to check out what this guy is. The Agnihotri, the Varchasi equivalent of a king or governor. He is overseeing the rituals and gives you a slanted glance. You go to pay your respects, and he is at pains to impress upon you that he is no desperate or tyrant prince, but rather rules Varchas with his council of sun seers and firekeepers. What do you think of Varchas so far, Thomas? He asks, and you know better than to mutter anything but meaningless platitudes in response. He nods as though satisfied, but you catch him giving you sharp, speculative looks as you wander the temple. It seems you have aroused his interest. Okay, and now we have to go back to the city center, go to the inn, At evening, after the 5th bell, each tamas is assigned a room. The light is endless and merciless. Will you sleep? All visitors to Varchos are given one night's accommodation in the city's only inn. It is a handsome stone mansion arranged around a pleasantly cool courtyard. Frescoes of city life are painted on the walls. Given how few visitors Varchos hosts, you suspect the inn is more usually used by philandering locals. Evening falls, or does it? The town's 5 principal mirrors are mounted on coiled spring mechanisms and alter their angles subtly to create the impression of evening. Across the city, the firekeepers throw pinches of colored powder into the lamps, and the quality of light yellows to a softer brightness. So we could... I'll check this one out, I think. The wine-mazed lamplighter. He is dressed in saffron robes and is indeed pouring wine down the throat of a very attractive dark-eyed boy. You could tell him his sister is looking for him. He starts up in horror, spilling burgundy red wine everywhere. His young companion looks irritated. "I'm late," he shouts. "Mihir, forgive me. The Agnihotri is going to skin me alive." He pumps your hand in gratitude. "Thank you, Tamas. I won't forget this. Here, take my arc jewels." Oh, wow. Now we have 7 outlandish artifacts. Baller. What else can we do? Kitchens, courtyard, sleep, and don't sleep. I'm gonna check out the kitchens. The smells of cooking mingle with the fungus rot, but you aren't going to let that put you off your food. The inn's cook is a large, scowling man with arms like a stevedore who turns you out without a word. Are all cooks fearsome? What you wouldn't give for a crease-faced, kindly old lady with sweet tarts in her pockets. Okay, it's time to sleep. Let's just sleep. The bed is low and wide and draped with cotton sheets stamped with vegetable dye patterns in muted greens and blues. You fall into deep sleep easily despite the bright light, but your dreams are full of whispering, glittering smokes, mirror vapors that coil into reflection-warping shapes. You see your limbs bend, your skin slough, your eyes twist. You wake with your heart pounding. Your nostrils are full of the fungal rot smell of Varchas. Your body is as it always was, but somehow that is not as comforting as it should be. Well... Dawn in Varchos. Outsider time in Varchos is strictly rationed. Each morning at dawn, the guard visits the inn to eject any tamas they find. They are polite, but very definite. Into the dark. Return, the guard tells you, but not yet. With that, they usher you into the darkness beyond the walls. You blink, mirror dazzles from your eyes. It's cold out here. Oh, right. Yeah, that's what I thought. I assume no shops or shipyard. Yeah. Okay, well, that took enough time that I'm going to end this episode here and hope that I have enough length of stuff to have a full episode getting back to London. Thank you very much for watching this, the 45th episode of Salt Play Sunless Sea. Goodbye.